Stick around. And Mr. Mayor, that's all for public comment.
Thank you. Thank you. I know we have the elected officials
Yeah,
here.
suspend the law.
So we will suspend the law and listen to a presentation by our elected officials. We're going to start with Senator Stephanie and then Abe Ayash, or you can both present, right? Okay. Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to come by and give you guys a quick update. We just resumed session last week in Lansing. I want to thank our fire chief and police chief for joining me last week. We had our 9/11 commemoration at the state capitol, and I just wanted to give you guys top line. I know Senator Chang is going to have some updates on some exciting legislation around, I know Ms. Charlene talked about water affordability and other things around the climate and energy investments, but I just wanted to give you some top line announcements around the budget that we passed this past summer. So as you know, for the first time since Ronald Reagan, Democrats have secured the Michigan House and Senate as well as the governor's mansion, and we were able to have one of the most progressive budgets in state history. Among that, Hamtramck was a huge winner in the budget, receiving the largest state investment in our infrastructure in over a 100-year history in the city. And I wanted to thank a couple individuals that really worked with us to make sure that happens. Number one, my counterpart in the Senate, Senator Chang, was a champion for Hamtramck during the budget negotiations. And I want to personally thank a specific council member who came up to Lansing multiple times to actually help us secure some of the funding and advocate for that money. Councilman Mohammed Al-Samiri was somebody that came to Lansing more times than some other city electeds in other parts of the state because of how committed he was to securing money for Hamtramck. So I just wanted to thank you specifically, Councilman Al-Samiri, for the work that you did in advocating. He leveraged his relationship with Kathy Anger, our former city manager, and found ways to insert himself in meetings and talk to appropriations chair and whatnot. So I want to thank him for that. Just want to give you some top line. What are some of the big funding wins Hamtramck received? So city got notice today that later this month, Hamtramck will likely receive $15 million in addition to what we were securing in the budget around the drinking water state revolving fund. And this addresses the needs of our water infrastructure in the state. This is in addition to the $10 million we're able to secure for our water infrastructure. I know that the sewage line, we have a $40 million project that the state received a federal grant, and we know that with the money that we're able to secure from the $10 million as well as this $15 million, we are well on track to finally address some of the long-term infrastructure issues around our flooding and our hopefully addressing some of the water runoffs that we are hearing customers are facing as a result. They're getting higher rates in their water bills. Additionally, there is a 2% one-time increase in the revenue sharing for public safety. So we're hoping that in working with Senator Chang's legislation around mental health professionals and things of that nature, our city will invest in some of those targeted areas to increase public safety in our communities. And there's a 5% ongoing increase for our revenue sharing. So Hamtramck is set to receive in the next 2 years about $10 million roughly in our revenue sharing sources. So the state is going to pump in a lot of money, but I just want to highlight this is a result of a Democratic trifecta in the Michigan House, Senate, and the governor's mansion. I want to thank Max, who's been a strong and able partner in communicating what the city needs, and we look forward to continuing our budget wins. I know the alleys and sidewalks are a huge concern for folks. We're able to secure some monies for that. We're going to fight for more. And our fire department has aging equipment. I know that's a concern for folks. And we know that there's an interest in making sure we're investing in green infrastructure and environmental justice. And with that, I will transition it to my colleague, Senator Chang, so I'll give an update on that piece.
Sounds good. Well, good evening. It's great to be here. For those in the audience, I'm Stephanie Chang, the state senator for Senate District 3, and we're so happy to just remind folks, if you didn't already know, that we actually do have, as many of you were there, a new district office that opened up this summer. So really want to encourage folks to reach out to us if there are things that we can help with, especially, navigating state bureaucracy and different types of things, whether it's benefits or veteran issues or you name it. We're there to help. It's right on Joseph Compow, 11521 Joseph Compow. And so please definitely reach out to us. Our staff is very capable and eager to help. I do have a flyer with upcoming coffee hours upcoming in the district. We actually do have one next Friday, the 22nd at 11 o'clock here in Hamtramck at Juice Box Blend, just up the street from our office on Joseph Compow. But in terms of things going on in Lansing, we've been very, very busy. I'm sure you all have sort of seen the news about the many, many issues that we've been working on at the Capitol. So too many issues to talk about today, but wanted to just highlight just a couple of them. One is probably of interest to a lot of folks, which is really to address our needs around our changing climate and moving our state towards a clean energy future. This is really important, especially because we're all very aware of how hot so many of our summer days were this summer, the flooding, power outages throughout our state, the tornadoes, just the list goes on. We know that these extreme weather events are here to stay and in fact will get worse, and so we really need to take strong action on climate. So we will be this fall really moving further and faster towards more renewable energy, doing more around ensuring that we are providing energy efficiency to customers, and also our hope is that we will do as much as we can to really provide our state's Public Service Commission the tools to hold our utilities accountable when it comes to reliability, affordability, equity, what's this word thing? Can't remember. Equity, affordability, climate, and health. So really hopeful that we'll be able to pass some significant legislation this fall. For those in the room, if you have strong feelings about any of those things, please feel free to reach out to us or other lawmakers as well, because we're going to need everyone to make sure this is as solid and as impactful as possible. I'll also just highlight one thing that I've been personally working on for many, many years that we will soon be taking up actually in committee is an issue around domestic violence. So for many years, we have been working on legislation to help protect domestic violence survivors from their abusers by ensuring that those who are convicted of misdemeanor domestic violence do not have access to a gun for just a period of about 8 years. This is very similar to what has happened in over 30 other states, Republican states, Democratic states. Also, there is a federal law, but we need to put something in place at the state level, so that we can help protect survivors. So stay tuned for that. There will be some news coverage later this week on it. And we, of course, are working on many, many other things, including water affordability and so much more. But really just wanted to stop by tonight to remind you all that we are here to be a resource, eager to continue serving, and grateful for our partnership.
Thank you. And I just wanted to flag one more event happening on Thursday, not too far from here at the Sweet Kingdom Missionary Baptist Church on Shane Street. So the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, MD Eagle, is having a community meeting regarding U.S. Ecology South. If you're familiar, U.S. Ecology North is the one right near the Folding Warehouse, right on the Hamtramck-Detroit border. They have a second location just further down the street that deals with solid waste, and they are requesting an extension of their current permit. The problem is they have since violated their permit many, many times since they've had it. A lot of air violations, a lot of odor violations. So we need folks from Hamtramck to come. This is an event that is actually set up by the Detroit Hamtramck Coalition for Advancing Healthy Communities. It's a grassroots group that sort of brings together the Poletown East community as well as Hamtramck and the Georgia Street Collective. We need folks at that meeting to speak out against U.S. Ecology South's permit and the concerns they have. If you know anyone that suffers from any health impacts, whether it's breathing or issues around air quality, this is the moment to come issue public comment in that meeting. So to that point, Senator Chang and I will be introducing legislation. One, she mentioned the environmental piece, making sure that as we're transitioning to green energy, that Hamtramck, Detroit, places like Highland Park. We get affordability for our customers and our residents in these states, and in these communities rather, and we are going to rein in the utility companies. DTE is probably the most angering 3 letters. I think many people in this room can attest. And we have some legislation coming up right now that will address your energy affordability as well as reining in their power and influence in terms of setting the rates in the state of Michigan. So that's forthcoming, but we want to make sure that as we talk about all these issues, we need engagement from all people. That includes our community members, that includes all of you before us on council and the mayor, because that's the only effective way that we can actually ensure that our issues are going to be heard on the state level. So with that, I just want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank Stephanie, Senator Chang, for being such a great champion and partner with me fighting for Hamtramck and Detroit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you, Senator Stephanie and State Rep Imran Ayash, for coming and presenting to us about the presumed funds that will come to Hamtramck. We were hoping for more for the alleys, but you punished us for no reason. Well, thank you so much. We still support you, though. And hopefully the community can be more engaged with the elected officials about what's going on in that city. So a lot of people talked about the public comments. I just want to say that I'm in favor and support of unlimited time for public comments. If you can convince the council about that, I'm supporting. I have no issue with it, okay? Anyone can, bring it back and we can reconsider that.